What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a stimulus package, stimulus check update. And it's very interesting what's going on right now, because I'm seeing Republican senators starting to say, you know what? What about us? We want to negotiate this next stimulus package. And it's interesting because these are some of the same Republican senators that for 9 months, nothing happened. They weren't eager to get this bipartisan proposal done for 9 months. I mean, finally, in December, we started seeing people like Susan Collins step up and say, okay, well, let's get this bipartisan proposal together. But prior to that, we weren't seeing anything. We weren't seeing anything at all. And Susan Collins was there the whole time. Of course, it was an election year, and maybe that's part of the reason why they wanted to not do anything. I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like during an election year, you would want to do something to show that you're for the American people. But for whatever reason, nothing was getting done. And so we're going to talk about this today. I'm going to show you some different quotes from some of these politicians when it comes to how to move forward with this next relief package. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. All right. So what sparked my interest here? Actually, to start from the beginning, earlier yesterday morning, Nancy Pelosi had a press conference, and she was pretty much saying, look, budget reconciliation, we're going to use this as leverage.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that you say reconciliation is a backstop, that you'd rather have a bipartisan bill?
Yes. Always.
But it sounds like you're not optimistic that will happen. Is that a correct?
Well, we have to be ready. I do think that we have more leverage getting cooperation on the other side if they know we have an alternative.
She had no problem saying that. This is going to be a tool. We're going to use this as leverage. If you want to come along with us, if the Republicans want to come along, they can come along with this next stimulus package. But if they don't want to come along, we're going to pull budget reconciliation out. And so next week, they're going to start voting on the budget procedures to unlock this budget reconciliation. And so now you're seeing some Republican senators come out and say, well, we want to be involved, or they're showing disappointment. And let me show you Politico. They had this article here, and I thought it was interesting. It's titled, "Betrayed. Republicans Urge Biden to Change Course on Stimulus." And there's Susan Collins there. And so I thought that was interesting. So here we are. Susan Collins is saying, look, we want to work with you. And we know President Biden does want something bipartisan. He does. But he has his proposal out there. And if we look at his proposal and we can compare it to the bipartisan $908 billion proposal that was put forward in December, and Susan Collins was part of that, there were a lot of things left out. As a matter of fact, let me go over to, we'll just pull this up real quick. So we'll go over the things that are in Biden's proposal now, and we'll check off some of the stuff, because there's some stuff that I don't think we're going to see if they want to really do it bipartisan. There's some stuff that I don't think we're going to see. So funding, I think this small business funding, I think that would be something that would be in a bipartisan. Now we're talking a bipartisan proposal. So let's say Susan Collins gets together. So you have 4 Republican senators, 4 Democratic senators, and they get together and they figure out this proposal that they want to move forward with. There's going to be some stuff that's going to be left out, is what I'm saying. So that's what we're taking a look at. Small business stuff, I think that would be in their proposal. Funding for the vaccine, I think that would be in their proposal. Eviction moratorium, I think that would be in their proposal. Now, $25 billion, I don't know. I don't know if that part will be in the proposal. Now, remember, there's $25 billion in the current bill that was just passed in December. So they might say that's enough. We don't need to add any extra funding for that. The deadline, September, that might be something that might not be in there. It might not be extended for that long period of time in a bipartisan proposal. A child tax credit, I don't know. I don't know how they would go with that. Now we know $2,000 stimulus checks, probably not. That's probably not going to happen. We didn't see it in the bipartisan $908 billion proposal in December. So I don't think we're going to see a $2,000 stimulus check or a $1,400 stimulus check or any stimulus check at all. Because remember, the $908 billion proposal that this bipartisan group came together with in December did not have stimulus checks in it. The stimulus checks were added after the fact. All right. Looking at, I'm not sure as far as SNAP funding. There's been kind of talk back and forth as far as will they have funding for food aid. So I'll put a question mark there. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Raising the minimum wage. No, that's not going to be in a bipartisan proposal. $10,000 student loan. This might not even be in the finished proposal that we see with Democrats. They're still up in the air when it comes to that. So $10,000 loan forgiveness, we don't know where that's going to go. Student loan forbearance, I would say that would be in there. COVID-19 testing, I would think that would be in there as well. Funding for education, yeah, I can see that being in there. Now, state and local funding, this was a big problem last time. I don't think it's going to be in there. And if it is, it's not even going to be close to $350 billion. And then that goes, both these kind of go together, but funding $20 billion for tribal governments, I'll put a question mark. I'm not even sure. And if it is in there, it's not going to be that $20 billion. And then unemployment benefits, they're going to keep it at $300. They're not going to raise it to $400. That's what Biden wants to do. They're not going to want to raise that to $400. And then the expiration date of the end of September, I don't think that would be in there either. So when we're looking at it, if we just look at the check marks here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 things that would be in there. All this other stuff would probably not be in this proposal, this bipartisan proposal that Susan Collins wants to work out. And so this is just to get the 60 votes that they want. I don't see a reason why they would want to go this route. I do not see a reason why you would want to do something like this. And when it comes down to it, Chuck Schumer, he sees the same thing. He's saying, look, this is the bill that we have. Okay. We already have it. We know what President Biden wants. And he is saying here, if our Republican colleagues decide to oppose this urgent necessary legislation, we will move forward without them. So they're not even leaving this open for negotiations. They're saying, look, this is the proposal. We have to put details on the table, but this is the proposal. This is what President Biden wants. We're going to go with what President Biden wants. Now, Susan Collins seems to think she has a relationship with President Biden, and they've worked in the past. Remember, President Biden used to be a senator, and so they've worked together before. But when it comes down to it, he's not a senator anymore. He is now the president. And guess what? He's not a legislator. So he can put forward his plan, but the legislators are going to have to come through and figure out where to move with another stimulus package. It's not President Biden's job to do that anymore. Sure, he's going to have his plan, and sure, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are going to try to implement his plan, but he's not going to be the one that's spearheading this legislation. And so if we want to wait another 8 months for another stimulus package, we can go this route of, okay, let's let the Republicans come in, Republican senators, these same Republican senators that stalled, and you could say both sides stalled, okay? The Republicans and the Democrats stalled for 8 months, but it takes two people to stall. It takes two people to negotiate. And we saw nothing happen for 8 months. And so now you have Democrats putting a proposal on the table and saying we can go through budget reconciliation and get this done in the matter of weeks, or we can sit down at the negotiating table with Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell, who they already know how they feel about this, and try to see if they can hash out a deal. And so I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that we should continue negotiating? Do you think Susan Collins is right, that we need to come together and work together on a bipartisan proposal? Sure, President Biden would want it to be bipartisan. Sure, they don't want to have to do budget reconciliation. But I do not see enough Republicans to get to that 60 votes, because they'll need 60 votes. I don't see enough Republican senators coming together on this package. They're going to want something else. Well, like I showed you before, that's what they're going to want. They're going to want to cut out a lot. And in the time right now, I don't think that's the right move. I think you need to go it alone. And then maybe in the future, if you guys want to have something else that's bipartisan in the future, maybe do that. Because you're probably going to need more funding for the PPP program and some other programs. You might need to extend things out a few more months. We don't know what's going to happen right now with COVID-19. And I mean, people are receiving vaccines, but now we're hearing about new strands. And I mean, it's just, this is just one crazy, hopefully it's not going to be another crazy year, but we're continuing this same pattern as last year. So that's all I have for you guys today, but let me know what you think down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.